All right, could I leave my car like this and turn it in? Yes. Yes, you could. This would be a perfectly legal car. You could race it and you could still be proud of this car. However, you can have the ability to take this up to the next level and make it look really professional in just a few easy steps. So I'm glad you're sticking it out with me to the end here. I'm going to show you just with a couple tools here how we can make this so much more refined and professional looking. So we are in a 3D view. We're at the very end of our sketch. And I am not in a new sketch. So I don't have my sketch toolbar. You know how we get this toolbar that changes. I don't have that. I'm canceling out of here. These are the tools we want. These are the tools that we can use to model anything that's already 3D. And we have not really had a chance to use these yet. So I'm going to go up, and the two that we're going to use a lot in this part to refine the look of our car is going to pretty much make this automatic. I'm going to use either this fillet tool, which is going to do a lot of rounding, which you're going to do. These are going to be the cuts you make on the saws. And then when you go and round off the pieces on the sander or with a file, you're going to fillet your parts. Okay. And so you're going to use this fillet tool, or you're going to use this chamfer tool if you want it to be angled down and put some nice little corners on here. So let's go in and let's make these changes. So I'm going to add my fillet, and hopefully yours is at the bottom of the list, and I'm going to just call this, I can just leave it fillet, I guess, but just so I remember what it is, I'm going to call it a rounding fillet. And I'm going to drag this to the bottom so that it's in the right order. This should be the very thing on the bottom here. If it puts yours out of order, you know how to fix it now. I'm going to open it back up again. And I'm going to click on any surface that I want to round off. Okay. With whatever the radius set, it's going to give me that radius for any and all surfaces. Now, this is 0.2 inches thick. Okay. So if I want to do a radius on the inside and the outside of this bar, okay, round that over, I have to have at least half of that distance. So I'm going to put, let's try it at 0.1. It might not like it because that's going to be exactly halfway, but let's try it at 0.1 first and see if we have to make it a little smaller. So I'm going to go on the inside of this rectangle here, and I'm going to start clicking on any of these shapes that I want. I got out of the fillet tool. When I have my fillet tool open, I'm going to go and click on any of these shapes that I want it to round off. So one click, and it found the entire shape and gave me a nice little round on the inside. I'm going to do that for the front. Okay, it did the inside here. I'm going to do it for the outside here as well. Okay, and it rounded that bumper off. I'm going to do it here on this corner. And I'm going to do it here on this corner. And really, our car is starting to take shape very quickly, and making it look, with smooth lines that are going to be more aerodynamic. It's going to catch the wind a lot less, and it's going to be looking like a finished off car. Okay. And I'm going to, I'll do it on the back here too. I like that. Okay. So far, that's good. I'm going to wait and do a different size. And you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to call this, because I'm going to do another fillet, which is going to be a different size. So I'm going to call this, let me actually keep this as let's see, 0.1 inch fillet. So that way I can keep track of what sizes are. Okay, that's going to tell me everything that's in this one is going to be my 1/10 of an inch rounding. Okay, I want to do around this compartment here a lot more aggressively. Before I do that, let's try another fillet here on this corner and see what happens. We want it to round instead of on the inside where we're sanding off. We want it to round onto the outside. because basically, in order to drill it, I think I might actually, instead of cutting this out with a saw, one easy process would be to take a drill bit and drill down here on both sides and give me a nice round, and then I just have to take a saw and kind of nip that out. So let's try the fillet tool on here. And I'm going to call this a 1/4 inch fillet. Or let's see, what is it? 3/8 of an inch? Let's do 3/8 of an inch. Oh, my alarm's going off. So I'm going to keep the fraction. 3/8 of an inch fillet. Okay, I'm not worried about it being an orange right now. I'm just giving it a title. I'm going to accept it and drag it to the bottom where it belongs. And now let's see what happens when we start. I'm going to go into my fillet and I'm going to start clicking on lines that I want it to be 3/8. Okay, now what happened? Now it's saying, it's asking me the direction, and it's having it go out, which is perfect. And it's adding material to 3/8 round. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to do it there. I'm going to do it here. Okay, those are good. And I'm going to try to do it, see if it lets me do both. Here, I want to round off my corners for my block. And this is a very realistic shape, because maybe I'm going to start with a square block and I'm just going to sand this down. Now, if you see on my design, it's giving me an orange line. Why is it doing that? Because my 3/8 fillet here from the bottom is interfering with my cut on the top. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate those. I am going to get rid of this one. And how do I want to do that? I'm going to get rid of the first two, and let me do those as two separate fillets, because there isn't 3/8 of an inch here to add and 3/8 to take away. So they were overlapping and they were conflicting. So that orange line means I have to adjust something. So I'm going to accept this. This is okay. And now my block is more rounded. Okay. And I'm going to do one more fillet, but instead of 3/8, I'm going to make it smaller, whatever it is from here to here. So let's go back in. I'm going to do another fillet, or I don't know, maybe let's try a chamfer. We haven't done a chamfer yet. And that's going to give me a round. And I'm going to put engine compartment chamfer. Engine compartment chamfer. Okay. I'm going to drag this down to the bottom. I have to accept it first. And here's what my chamfer is going to be. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go back into chamfer. And it wants the distance. Let's click here. And it's going to kind of auto find my distance for me. And it's accepting it. It's okay. I'm going to zoom in. Looks like there's a little bit of a conflict right here, but not much. And maybe I just need to make that a little bit smaller. So instead of 0.20, I'm going to make it 0.18. That brought it in. Maybe one more click, 0.17. Okay, yes, that's perfect. And it goes right to the line. So 0.17 there. Now I'm going to click on this line right here too. 0.17 there. Okay, so the difference between a rounding and a chamfer is that a chamfer is a straight line. It's just a nice little angle, diagonal. And a rounding does this whole little rounding bit. I was going to round this over here, but you know what? I kind of like it like that. I'm going to leave it. It looks a little bit streamlined. It looks a little bit aerodynamic. And if I want, when I'm done and I'm filing this, I could always go back and kind of tweak that a little bit. There's one thing that I really wish I could shape this nose cone down a little bit. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to use the same chamfer tool and see what happens on the nose cone. It's giving me an error down on the bottom where this overlap is. It doesn't like that. And maybe it won't do it. Yeah, see. In reality, I'm not really that worried about it. So I'm going to keep my chamfers on the back, but not on the side. So let's see. I'm just going to do these two. These I really want. It's going to make it a lot nice and strong. stronger there, 1 and 2. And around the engine compartment, I'm just going to leave that where it is. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to accept that. And now my drawing is finished. There is my full 3D car, rounded off, ready to put my tires on and my CO₂ cartridge in, and ready to start cutting out of my block or 3D printing this. This thing would print fabulously with the 3D printer, with the design and shape of this. So thanks for hanging in all the way to the end. If you have not shared your project with me yet, you need to do it now. So go up to the share button and you're going to type in my email here, and feel free to share that with me. And then I will have access to it. And if you need to let me know by now if you're going to 3D print this or if you're going to cut it out of your wood block. Once your drawing is approved by me and you're at this stage, then we are going to, in the next video, we're going to dimension it. You don't need to dimension it until you get the actual overall size and shape set up, okay? And once it's approved and you know that this design is going to work, then I'll give you the go-ahead to dimension it, and then that's going to be what we're going to print out and use to trace our lines onto our wood block. So we look forward to seeing you in the last couple of videos and getting ready to actually build this thing. Congratulations.